Alrighty, folks, we are welcoming back someone who was on the channel, I think about 2 years ago, the one and only Rachel Swanson. How you doing, Rachel?
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good. Nice to see you again, Michael.
Nice to
How's
see you
everything
as well.
going?
Going well. I believe last time we talked, you were still in Idaho with
Yes,
plans very quickly to move to the great state of Texas. Does that
yes.
happen? What's going on with that? Let's start there.
Yeah. So yeah, we decided that it just was going to be better for us. We actually got to the place where we could be mostly remote, right? Because with all our rentals that we had started to acquire, we had enough people and teams in place that we felt like, where would we really want to move to and where would we want to live? And we started to think about like family rhythms, and we realized that most of our family rhythms are really surrounded around water and just sunshine. And you don't get enough of that in Idaho, to be honest. So as much as we loved Idaho, it's beautiful. There's so many great people, but we felt like, Texas might be a better fit for our family for the long run. So the great thing is, our rentals at that time were, producing enough. And, my husband was in his job at the time too. It was a remote position. He could do it wherever. So then we just realized, let's do it. So we moved. And at that time we sold a pretty major property of ours that we had converted. I think that's kind of what we had talked about last time, was this like co-living community. So you guys should tune back in and take a look at that one. And then we reinvested it into some really cool properties here, which just even pushed the needle as far as our equity and cash flow even more. So enabled my
That's
husband to be able to retire.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, you're leading the tagline. The husband is now retired. Look at that.
Yes. Retired my husband. So
There you
yes,
go.
it's a great moment.
Well, one of the other things I think has been very unique about your story is you've kind of done what like lots of real estate investors do, right? You buy and hold and you add value and all of that. But you've really taken it to another level and found some creative, almost one of a kind properties. I think we talked in passing about the treehouse, and I don't know anything about it, but it sounds like a treehouse might be a short-term rental. What the heck is that all about?
Yeah. So, those have become really popular in the short-term rental space. And usually to be able to even find something like that, it either is going to go quick, it'll be super expensive, or you kind of have to build from the ground up. And we got it was one of those, when we were already kind of searching, we were ready, we were primed and looking in this certain area, close to where we live. It's this lake community. And it was funny because we were looking at a different property in the same development, but it was way smaller, way more of a fixer. I mean, it was not in the greatest shape. It was half the cost. But I was looking and we are like, when you go and see a property and you're
Yeah,
like, you want to love it, but you're just like, this just doesn't seem right. Like it didn't
right.
feel right. And so I jumped back on to the MLS and I got off the MLS, but I jumped back on and I literally was just opened up parameters because I liked this little spot. And I thought, is there anything else in this spot? And sure
Mhm.
enough, I feel like some things are just the right place at the right time. And this property had just popped up. This very large, property on the lake. It has this very cool treehouse rustic vibe. So it does have trees coming through
Mm.
the deck. It has this cabiny lodge. I mean, it's very cool. It's very custom to, had some really cool features, but it just had a lot of wear and tear on it. And
Mhm.
so, I already knew though, once I saw it, I was like, we need to put an offer now. So we did. And sight unseen, let's put an offer in. And then we went, as soon as they accepted it, we went the next day to look at it.
Right.
And it was super cool. We just saw the potential of it. Um, and honestly, it was funny because we didn't even realize that it was considered a treehouse property until we'd already bought it and we're fixing it up. And I was like, oh, wait, like it's on stilts and it has trees coming through like this is a treehouse property. And so
Wow.
because of that, I realized, this is actually going to produce a lot more than even what we thought it would. So we've got a really great deal in it already. We did have to put in even our own sweat equity and things like that, up to like $65,000. We converted like another room that was part of, it was like the garage, but then it had a whole extra huge kind of storage room with skylights and windows. And it had this bathroom very much like a murder shed bathroom, to be honest, initially. It was disgusting. So, but it had all the plumbing there, right? So
Right,
we're like,
right, right.
oh, we can make this into this really cool bunkhouse space, and really
Ah,
maximize the amount of people that could come. And sure enough, because of that, that just really, initially we were thinking like 350 a night, and now it does over $1,000 a night, for a nightly rental. And that just really capitalized our equity and our cash flow. So yeah.
wow. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in the short-term rental space. It's
Yeah.
not a space that I look at a lot because I'm just a month, boring landlord guy. One
It's
thing I
fun.
love, yeah, one of the things I love about this story is I think it's two things. It's in a area that encourages short-term rentals, like lots of lake
Yeah.
house, like a lot of lake communities encourage that, like on purpose,
Yes.
right? So they're not going to change. It's not
Right.
like a city that's going to change. So
We're
that,
even on like unrestricted county, even though we're close to everything. We're just like, it's really weird just how the county
Mhm.
lines and the city lines are. It's perfect. We'll never have to worry about it.
Yeah, so that's good. And then
Mhm.
second, I think what a lot of people need to be looking for is not the cookie cutter 2 story
Yes.
kind of house, right? Because then the only thing you compete on is price. If you
Hmm.
have the unique property, you really can command what you want because
Yes.
expected 350 now getting 1,000. You have the only treehouse, so you can sell that up and make it special. Is that fair?
Yeah, we're really the only treehouse in the area as well that hosts can hold up to 17 people.
Oh
So
my
this is
goodness,
a
this is a
very
monster
large,
house.
it's a monster house. We could probably even charge more, but based on the area and we're doing fine as it is. And I think just, people see the value of it too, which is great. So we get a lot of great responses from people. But yeah, so in this area that we had purchased it in, it caters to a lot of weddings, and so
Mm,
it's outside of Houston, and so a lot of people, while it has a big city of Houston, right? But a lot of people love to go an hour out, more in the country or the woods areas, or just
yeah.
feel rural and have these beautiful weddings. And so there's tons of wedding venues, but there's not a lot of properties that host and hold that many large spaces, as well as, I mean, we're literally having requests for private weddings, like those smaller 35 to 50 people. So we actually just recently connected with a wedding coordinator who's creating
Mm,
like any custom packages for people if they want to do something like that at our property.
wow.
So it's all like kind of coming together into different ways that we didn't even anticipate, but it's been really such a fun experience because yeah, we started with the long terms, and we still do own many long-term rentals. And we still think they're, some of those are fabulous too. There's nothing wrong with that. But actually, it's funny how we morphed into the short-term rental space. And now we've realized we actually really love it. Like we
Mm,
really thrive in it. And I think that's important because not every time in your journey, like, you might be like, you know what, like I know people have done short-term rentals and they're like, I'd rather do long terms. Like I
yeah,
love
I'm
the
out.
totally. Yeah. And then you have other people like, I don't want to do long terms. I want to do like there's a
Yeah,
room for everybody. And I think it's really
yes.
important to just try things and see and experience because you might be like, oh wow, like this is where I really feel like I come alive. I'm really good at this. So in our short-term rental space, I mean, we had some experience already from previous other ones, but this one just elevated it to another level and really made it to where it's like, okay, now we have a certain target audience and certain people we really want to serve for short-term rentals. And so, yeah, we found kind of a sweet spot and we love it.
Yeah, again, I just go back to that story, right? About doing the work. So you
Yes,
found a property you liked, you went and saw it, it didn't feel right, your little spidey senses were off. Since you
yes,
were there, you're like, hey, let's use this time valuable. You expanded your search, you found this unique property that just popped up. You put in an offer because you just knew. Then you had inspections, you had all of this, you
yes,
uncovered more
yes.
value. So again, you ran the numbers at 350 a night, and it was only
And
after
it,
getting done you realized it could be 1,000.
yeah, but the cool thing was is we ran it for those lower numbers and it still
Yeah.
looked great. And we're like,
Oh,
okay,
exactly.
that's awesome. And now it's like even better. We're like, woo, this is like icing on the cake, right? So yeah,
Woohoo.
you
Yeah, yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
and I think those numbers I was running was probably a little on the low side, but I am very conservative with my numbers. I'm always taking like 10, 20% off, even like just worst case scenarios. I
Yeah.
like to know that I can really cover myself. And so,
As you
um,
should. As you
yeah,
should.
absolutely. So when we knew that this one, it was unique, and while we did put some money to fix it up, we knew it would be worth so much more. Even kind of like I don't know if that saying out there is kind of like a burster or like a, you buy a value add short-term rental so that
Yeah.
if something happened and it didn't do as well, you can always flip it and sell it
Yep.
and you at least make a profit off of it. Yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
How long have you owned that one? Has it been a year or how long has it been?
It's been a year. Yes.
So I'm curious, what does occupancy look like on something like that? Are you looking at 50% average a month or more, or what are we thinking?
Yeah, so on the slower months, it's about 45%. And
Okay.
then the summer months are, and even actually December, we had like crazy,
Mm,
November, December were actually pretty packed.
mm,
So we've had upwards of like 70 to
yeah.
one time 80%. So
Wow.
yeah,
Nice. Okay.
yeah,
I like it. I like it.
it's pretty well.
And in how this is what did you say an hour away from where you live?
It's an hour outside of Houston. It's actually really close to where we live. It's in the
Oh, okay.
same kind of
Got it.
vicinity. Yeah.
And
So that's
you do
fine.
your own I don't know what management or terms or do you have a team or how does that work?
Yeah, we do. I mean, our obviously, with the short-term rentals, your cleaner is your most important person, like for sure.
Hmm.
Her husband does maintenance as well. So if there are any issues, we can hire him as well to do those things. So yeah, really it's my gal. I do do a little more like I mean, every couple months I go in and I'm doing a double check of like a real good thorough check of cleanliness, inspection, like what do we need? What do we need to update? Those types of
Yeah.
things. So maybe I'm the person for that, but then we have other short-term, like we have another short-term rental in Oklahoma that it's further away, right? So we don't
Yeah.
really go there. So we have a team in place and they do manage it for us and it still does fine. So, but the ones that
Very
are close to us, we actually kind of enjoy having a little more of that hands-on aspect. And honestly, for how much we, get instead of paying somebody else, it just makes more sense for us to do it.
oh
I
yeah.
mean,
Makes
yeah.
total sense to me.
But we
So
do
one
have
of
a ton of the systems in place to where it's very minimal. Like I'm talking maybe an hour to 2 hours of work a week for that
mm,
property to keep up with messages and things
yeah.
like that.
Very, very cool. One of the things I've noticed on your Instagram page is you are looking to help people earn financial freedom via real estate. I'm curious, where does that fire come from? Because that's obviously something I care about as well.
Yeah.
But it really is it's a mission, right? Because it takes consistency because not everybody believes that it's possible.
That is so true. I mean, I get in my circles of other people and friends or people I've just come across and it's interesting how that the biggest struggle really for people initially is the mindset. And if you
Mhm.
don't have that belief that you can actually do this, then you won't take action, right? And while it can feel still like, is this really real? Can it really do this? But when you get involved or when you start to read more books or listen to podcasts or whatever, look at YouTube and you see and hear all these other normal people, like truly normal people who just decided to take some action and start investing in real estate and start making it work for them, within 5 to 10 years. I mean, yeah, maybe it even takes 15, but gosh, that's still probably 15 years sooner than you would retire, otherwise. And so I'm always like, even if it's just one rental a year, like just one, that's going to be really beneficial to you in the long run and help reduce your strain, financially in the future. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it does become kind of this mission because when you experience it too yourself, like some of that freedom, some of that flexibility, it's just like, man, how can people not see? It's like seeing the Matrix, right? Like, it's like I see it, and why can't they see it? So it's totally like that.
Yeah. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, right?
It's true.
It's
Yeah.
possible. Yeah, I keep one of the things that I think gets people in the not belief is there's social media makes it seem like if you don't have 100 units, you're an idiot. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, just four could change your life.
100%. Can
And
I tell you something, Mike? So
yeah,
this one property, right? This tree house.
mhm,
So we actually ended up buying it outright, and it was only like 420 something thousand dollars because we
okay,
did a 1031 exchange for another property that had all this built up equity. It
yep,
wasn't like this is like, you guys, this is from like, we put in 40,000 at one point and now it became this
yeah.
massive amount, right? And that's what
1031 is amazing.
over
Yep.
time. And we took it and we bought it. And with this one property, yeah, we don't have a mortgage, but yeah, if you had even one property, no mortgage, we're making straight up cash flow on average $7,000 to $8,000 a month.
Net,
Just
net, net.
that's net.
That
One.
doesn't suck.
It doesn't suck. Like you really could do with just a couple properties, a couple really great ones as a short-term rental, yes,
Mhm.
but even as long terms, like when you have those paid off, or even but people don't realize is, I mean, after about 5 to 10 years, you've increased those rents. And guess what? The mortgage hasn't changed. And so, even 10 of those, if you're making maybe by that point about $1,000 a month, you could be doing $1,000 a month
Mhm.
net. Like you could. I know other people who have that. And just 10 of those is $10,000 a month. And that's a huge amount for people to live off of. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the strategies I haven't talked a lot about, but I think I need to talk about more. This is really for W-2 employees is I always talk about getting to 4, right? Because I think that's something that everybody believes they can do. But Rachel, I'm going to play this for the first time, so chop it up if you don't like it.
Okay.
So let's get to 4 paid off, but do it this way. Instead of buying 4 during your career, let's buy 8, right? 8 over a
Mhm.
decade. And then you let those run out. You refi at lower rates if you can, but don't take out any more debt. And let's say it's year 18. So for
Mhm.
8 year or for 10 years, you buy 8. And
Mhm.
then at year, I don't know, 15 to 18, you kind of take stock. And what I want you to do there is I want you to sell 4.
Mhm.
Most likely, you could sell the 4, pay off the other 4, and almost be debt free, if not
Yeah.
have much more LTV. So what do you think of that, right? Grow a little bit bigger, then prune the worst ones, sell them, and end up with 4 paid off. How's that feel?
I think that's amazing. And I think that's a really great concept to talk about because I think so many people out there think you have to build this giant empire. And not everybody's there. Not everybody wants the giant real estate portfolio, giant business. Like that's not everybody's desire. But what they really do want is they would love to have some reduction in their overall stress with the overall income that they make. And if it could only take only a few hours a week to manage, or if you could be completely like have it all self-managed and make that kind of money with just a couple, like that's
Mm.
great. Like people then could still live a great quality life. Yeah, sure, you're not buying a yacht and you're not going, private jets, but who cares? Like, does that really make, I mean, that's not really the norm anyways. And not everybody really cares about that. Really what they care about is, can I provide for my family? Can I have the time to spend to do things that I love? I want to be able to work out more. I want to be able to eat healthier. I want to be able to take my family on a vacation a few times a year without like feeling the stress of it and burdens of it. I want to be able to, where if something happened, for me, like the biggest thing was my husband, if for some reason he were to, God forbid, pass away or something happened, like, would I have to go back to work or could I still sustain it? And I'm so thankful now I'm at this place, like, yeah, I mean, again, he's worth more to me alive than dead. But if he passed away, I would not be in a desperate place.
Yeah, you wouldn't
And
be
that's
destitute.
really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and frankly, it goes the other way as well, right? If you were to, God forbid, pass on, he would have the
Yeah.
financial flexibility to care about the kids. He wouldn't be stressing about money or time or any of the other things. So it goes both
Oh,
ways.
100%. Yeah. Oh no, he was even like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I would do if, as far as like just taking care of the kids. But I'm like, well, at
Yeah,
least you have like these
yeah,
passive rentals and income. You don't have to
you
stress
have
about
kind of it figured out.
it. Yeah. So
That's
it's
funny.
just a really, you want to be able, I think, create those. I think the biggest goal is really to create more options and flexibility for yourself by having additional passive, semi-passive, or well-performing, investment strategies. And it's really doable with real estate. It's been
Yeah.
tried and true over time. It's not, doesn't take rocket science. It's really just a math game. And as long as you participate and you do it well enough, um, you're going to be fine. So,
So let's talk a little bit about Texas, right? You moved from Idaho to Texas. I
yes.
again don't know anything about Texas as far as I never had a buy box in Texas, so I never looked at it. But I hear Austin's in trouble, lots of inventory. There's a lot of folks think Texas is set up for a crash. It maybe already has happened. But when you look at the Texas real estate market, what do you see as somebody that's on the ground?
Right. So I actually got my real estate license here as well, just because I feel like there's so much opportunity for investors that I could help, them to do those things as well. But that's not, I mean, Yes, there's certain markets it's going to be, it's just like looking at the whole entire United States. You're going to have some
Yep.
cities that are not doing as well and others that are. Austin got really overinflated, and so they are seeing some of that, change. However, do I think it really matters in the long run? No, I think it's still going to be a place that's going to continue to grow. It's one of those, back in 2008 when everybody's like, oh no, everything crashed and like, you just never wanted to invest in real estate again. Well, all those areas where they cut, like by 2020, 2021, 20, they more than doubled probably. Like
Yeah.
most of those places have more than doubled. So you still gain it back. It's really a long run game. I think that people get so caught up in the short term that they don't look at the long term results of it. I mean,
Mhm.
Austin is still a great place. It's still growing. It still has a need for more affordable housing. I think that's more important. And then you have Dallas and Houston. Houston, I think, has more steady, numbers as far as investing. It's definitely still under as far as the I think affordable, like they
Yeah,
need more housing. They need more
sure.
affordable housing in 4 units, and they're working on that. And there's still, man, there's still houses that are selling. I do think it's a little more competitive,
Mm.
but that's like a lot of different markets. And it's not like you're an investor now back in 2020, or you can just like
Yeah,
buy anything and it works. Like now you actually have to run your numbers and you actually
right.
have to be smart about it and wise about it. But if you do that, then you will be fine. But yeah, there's
Yeah,
still great opportunity. I see opportunity in Texas all the time. So
awesome.
yeah, it's still
Well, if
out there.
somebody's looking to make a move in Texas, buy rentals, whatnot, A, how would they reach out to you to see if you can help them? Or B, let's tell them about your Instagram page, which is full of positivity.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my Instagram page is definitely the best way. I have like a free download for investors to help them get started. Even there's like
Nice.
a download that talks about 40 ways to invest in real estate, and it's all different types, like from zero money to the creative to your traditional. Like there's lots of different pieces in that, and so I think it just gives people the I don't know the brain power to be like, wow, there's something I could do in
Yeah.
this. So that's that. And then, if they want more help or they want to start investing in Texas, they can just reach out personally and I'll get on a call with them and we'll see where they're at. So,
And the Instagram page is
Rachel C. Swanson. That is
Rachel
the,
C. Swanson. Yes, folks, give her a follow. She is putting up positivity, something that is in my feed. You know that I block doomers, but I encourage you to follow folks that are positive. Rachel, you're amazing. Closing thoughts, and I'm sure we'll talk again.
thank you. Sounds good.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Mhm.